As an e-commerce business, email marketing, I'm not joking, should be about 50 to 60% of your revenue if you do not have a storefront. And those are like real numbers. Like I've talked to some brands who do a good 7 figures yearly. Email marketing is about half of their revenue. So you really want to invest in it, and you really want to test as much as you can. The best way to do that is to start with these 5 sequences. Welcome to another episode of $1 Million Messaging. I'm your host, Cierra, and we are back with another industry-specific industry highlight in season 2. So today I'm going to talk to those of you who have e-commerce businesses, meaning you ship something that someone purchases from your website, you ship it to them, or maybe they can pick it up, but you sell something physical online. So let's start with the data. So global e-commerce hit $6.42 trillion in 2025 with 2.7 billion online shoppers worldwide. But here's the issue. The other statistic that I found, which was jarring, is that only 33% of people who put something in their cart actually checked out, and only 10% of people actually shop with that brand more than once. So I did some digging. I have an idea of why that is. But if you have an e-commerce business, I'm going to give you the 5 email sequences that you need so that you can fall into the higher percentile of people actually checking out and people actually shopping with you again. So let's start with the most obvious, right? The most obvious email sequence. I don't care if you sell shoes, t-shirts, dog treats, tea, bonnets, hats, whatever. You should always have a welcome sequence. So most of you, when someone comes to your website, you probably offer some type of free shipping coupon or 15% off or whatever you choose for that number to be. You're probably offering some type of discount incentive for them to get their email address or their phone number for SMS messages, right? You still need to have a welcome sequence. You can't just take their information, expect them to use the coupon out the gate and never follow up. Or what I also see a lot is that when people do follow up, they're following up so that you can hurry up and use the coupon so they can get a sale. No. Create a welcome sequence of 3 to 5 emails. Introduce the brand. Why did the brand start? Who started the brand? Has the brand done anything significant that's worth mentioning in an email? And then circle back and remind them to use the coupon. That's how a welcome sequence should go for an e-commerce business. The second sequence is post-purchase email sequence. So a lot of times people are very transactional. They buy something, they get the confirmation, they get the shipping information, and that's it. You never get a, hey, are you enjoying that? Hey, could you leave us a review? Send us a video with you using XYZ. Get creative. Don't be very generic, because some of the generic ones are, could you leave us a review? But do ask for videos, right? Ask for your customers to tag you on social. Be creative and let people know that you're actually interested in how they're utilizing your product that they purchase from you online. So you also want to have a post-purchase email sequence. That could be about 3 emails over, I would say 30 days, maybe 4 emails over 30 days once a week, depending on what your product is. You know better than I would on how long it takes for someone to actually start utilizing the product and seeing the benefits of it. The third sequence is going to be abandoned cart. This means someone went to your website, they put the item in the cart, they never checked out. Most of you are doing text messages. I'm pretty sure everybody is getting that from Fashion Nova, but it's okay to have an abandoned cart email sequence as well. You could get as creative as you need to with this. I'm only going to give a few examples because I could go all day with different examples for abandoned cart abandoned cart emails based on the type of business that you have. So the first thing you want to do is dope subject line, right? Like, did you forget? Or you forgot to check out. I'm so tired of seeing that. So let's do, did you forget? Or oops, are bad. Something like that. Just letting them know, like, hey, you put this in your cart, you forgot to check out. Here, you can finish right now, right? If they don't check out within that, normally it's like 60 to 90 minutes after it's put into their cart that you send that. Then you could do one 24 hours after. Then you can do 48 or 72 hours after. And then I would say about the 96 hour, you do another email and maybe you give them another incentive. Now, that incentive depends on your business your margins, your costs. I'm not just gonna say anything and then you use it and then you like, you got me out here losing money. I'm not gonna do that. Figure out what makes sense based on your business, but you definitely want to do an abandoned cart sequence up to 96 hours after they put it in the cart. So that's the third one. The fourth one, sometimes when I tell people this one, they like, I've never heard of that one. It's called browse abandoned cart. Now, this one is a little tricky because you really have to know what you're doing inside of Shopify and whatever email marketing system that you're using. Browse abandonment means that person just looked. They didn't put it in their cart. Once again, you have to know what you're doing with Shopify and whatever email marketing system that you use. But browse abandonment has a 70% actual conversion rate because people are just genuinely impressed. They're like, I didn't even put it in my cart. They saw that I was looking at it. Now I really want it. So that is typically 3 emails over the course of 72 hours. And with those emails, what you want to do is you want to go deeper into the benefits, because if they're looking, that means they're looking to solve a problem based on whatever product you sell that your product can solve. So if it's a coat, if you're Carhartt and they're looking at work gloves, maybe they work outside. So adding the benefits, like how long does people's hands stay warm with your work gloves? If it's work boots, like how long do their feet stay dry? Like get really, really creative and really understand the benefits of what your product does. And with the browse abandonment, that's what you want the content of those emails to be. All right. And then the last one, the Winback campaign. So with the Winback campaign, this is 75 to 90 days after someone has made a purchase from you. So they made the purchase, you've done the post-purchase sequence, but they haven't bought anything else in between that time. Now, I'm not gonna lie. As I think about this is really for e-commerce brands that have multiple products, meaning you don't just have one t-shirt, you don't just have one jogger, like you have a product suite. And with the Winback, what you want to do is take a look at what they purchased and then ask yourself, what is the next logical step? So I don't know why Carhartt is on my brain, but I'm going to use them again. So if someone purchased the Carhartt overalls, that means 9 times out of 10, they do some type of job where they need to be warm, or maybe they just like the overalls. A lot of guys just wear the overalls. The next logical thing is get the jacket to match, or get the hat to match, or get the gloves to match. So you build out a sequence that legitimately, where it provides recommendations on the next logical thing for them to purchase. So there was this one company that I used to purchase fresh teas from. It was called The Flyers. It was a woman in Maryland. But long story short, I bought one batch of teas from her, and she did a really good job of, you purchase this type of tea that fixes that problem. Here's the next logical type of tea to buy. And then here's the next tea to buy after that. I don't know. Do any of y'all got a vitamin company? Oh, Pharmacy for Life. So they're a vitamin company owned by the guys who used to be in the rap group, The Locks. I don't think they do it, but they should. So they have their, the CMOS vitamins, right? So you have the CMOS vitamins. The next logical thing is, if you're taking this, then you probably should take black seed oil. If you take black seed oil and CMOS vitamins, then you probably should take, they have these lion mane's vitamins that keep you focused. So asking yourself, what is that? This is a word that I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on the show yet, but what is the customer value journey based on your product suite, especially if you have a product that people need to use every 30, 60, 90 days or once a year? But what are the next logical steps for them to do that? If you are an e-commerce brand, 5 sequences again. Welcome sequence, post-purchase sequence, the abandoned cart, browse abandonment, and then your win-back campaign. As an e-commerce business, email marketing, I'm not joking, should be about 50 to 60% of your revenue if you do not have a storefront. And those are like real numbers. Like I've talked to some brands who do a good 7 figures yearly. Email marketing is about half of their revenue. So you really, really, really want to invest in it, and you really, really, really want to test as much as you can. The best way to do that is to start with these 5 sequences. That's it for today's show. If you guys have any questions, you know how to reach me. If you don't, check the show notes, and I will talk to you guys soon.